What is
What's
up?
going on, everybody? Welcome to, I guess you could say, first channel exclusive called the All-Star Sports Show. Pretty much, for those who remember, the NFL Talk podcast or the Ball with the Ladies, we're going to be all wrapping up into one show as we'll get
And
into.
plus, it's not just going to be the NFL shows. It'll be, and I'm still going to do picture and recap. That's going to stay, a separate thing. But I will. We're not only going to talk about the NFL and the WNBA. We'll be talking baseball. We'll be talking college football, hockey, all that stuff when that comes in to play. Well, yeah, let's get right into it. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the All-Star Sports Show. And let me give you a little backstory on this thing. We had a network called the All-Star Sports Network. This is where the name is derived from. We basically said, let's just rebrand that whole thing to a show title. And we have. So that's the backstory of that. But let's get to our topics. NFL Week 1 is commencing, and we had a barn burner of a game last night between the Chiefs and the Lions, the Detroit Lions. What was your take on the game? Because oh my God, what a game!
Well, for those who have not really watched Detroit Lions football, look, I may not be a Lions fan, but I know a scrappy team where I can see one. And the fact of the matter is, look, when you look at the roster, do they have the best roster paper? Not exactly. You got a good right guard in Paneso, who's was a monster in college, and good pick by that. Jared Goff, look, I remember at times when people say he was going to be a bad quarterback, but he's not really that bad. Or when you give him some good talent around him, he's a solid, obviously top 15 type of quarterback. Like, he's not that terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, last year, 29 touchdowns last year. What is it? Was over just slightly over 4,000 yards. Like, the dude can still sling the rock better than anybody. Let's be real.
Let me look up his exact numbers of last year.
Because I know that the 29 touchdowns was the most of his career, or tied his career high, if I remember correctly. But
he did have 29 touchdowns, and he had over 4,400 yards.
So he almost had a 5,000 yard, almost a Patrick Mahomes type of season in terms of the yardage.
Like, and here's the thing. Let me read you the stats from his time with the Rams and his time with Detroit. The first season, his inaugural season, he didn't have the best season. 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Because of course he was a rookie. He was going to make mistakes. What happened to your green screen?
I'm fixing it.
Yeah, he always has mess ups with the green screen, but don't mind it.
Well, that's just it's not just me, but I actually hit the cable on my camera and it fucks up my camera. So
I'm kidding. But even in that season, he had a 1,000-yard season. 2017, 3,804 yards, 28 touchdowns to 7 picks. 2018, over 4,600 yards, 32 touchdowns, 12 picks. So, yes, between that 2018 and 2020 stretch, he did throw a bit high on the picks there from 2018 to 2020. That's why people said, oh, he's not the greatest quarterback ever and things like that. It's because of the picks. He had high picks in 2018. No, go ahead.
Here's another thing I found funny. I still remember when Goff got drafted by the Rams, people say, oh, he's going to fizzle out real quickly. I was like, I wouldn't say that. Yes, the rookie season, I mean, let's be real. It's called rookie growing pains. Every team goes through that. Crap.
And the way I look at it, only 5 touchdowns and 7 picks, he was very limited in that season.
I think he's still
very limited.
I'm trying to think who was
I think you were still. I forgot who was starting quarterback, but again, too, they had that trash coach Fisher, Jeff Fisher. So nobody was gonna work with him. Nobody was gonna work. But then he started to wake up between 2017 to 2020. He was throwing a bit too many picks. 2018 to 2020.
I think after 2020, I think he really worked on eliminating his picks, in which he has done pretty well with that since being in Detroit. Because think about it, you're in a smaller market that is the Detroit. Detroit's not a big market in terms of for football, but they got a really nice, passionate fan base who, let's be real, been through so much crap over the years. I mean, think about it. You had General Orlovsky stepping into the end, getting a safety, drafting Joey Harrington, already forcing two of your all-time best players into retirement early. Well, then that's not the front office. But really look at the coaches prior in Detroit. I mean, Jeff Fisher, I'm sorry. You had Jim Caldwell for a while. Let's be real, had a couple winning seasons under him before he got canned. And then all of a sudden you go to Matt Patricia for whatever reason.
Trash. Yeah.
And then you had Dan Campbell, who, for those who don't remember his playing days, was a very solid player during his playing days. I think a lot of people really tend to forget how good Dan Campbell was during his playing days. And quite honestly, I really like how the players are buying in with Dan Campbell. As he said, they're going to be biting some kneecaps.
But yeah. That press conference is weird. I'm gonna bite your kneecaps, and I'm gonna tear your limb, and I'm gonna tear your leg off. I'm gonna tear your arm off. I'm gonna tear your head.
Basically, he's making a lion.
I looked at that press conference. I'm like, dude, that is graphic. The way you're explaining what you're gonna do to these teams. I'm gonna tear your leg off. I'm gonna bite your kneecaps off. Dude, are you okay, Dan? Are you okay? But anyway, speaking of Dan Campbell, let's move on here. Speaking of Dan Campbell, that play call in the beginning of the game on 3rd down or on 4th down.
Yeah, that fake punt.
The fake punt. That man has some brass you-know-whats. I ain't gonna say what they are, but he's got some brass you-know-whats to do that.
He's got
on 4th down.
I'm thinking to myself, because first of all, when you watch the game, you were really not expecting a bit of a play call like that from Dan Campbell. But the fact,
but then again, you kind of do, because he did it before. He did it before in other seasons. But the fact that he did it in the beginning of the game, mind you, the game was still scoreless.
Yeah,
and your team is expected to punt in that situation. That man said, nah, I ain't doing that. I'm going to fake this punt, and we're getting this first down. And they did.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was like one of the, I sat there, I'm like, and the thing is, I said, God dang, Campbell, but only I didn't say dang.
And what's also funny about that, too, you saw Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo get so mad. It's like, he got so mad they could not stop it. That fake punt. You could see the frustration. It's like,
he was like, this was his face. He was like, that was his face. He was mad. He was livid at that. The fact that you anger the defensive coordinator on that, dude, that was a good move.
I will say the Chiefs, they got some really nice pieces on the defensive end of the football. I will flat out admit they have some really nice pieces. I mean, Trent McDuffie's looked like he's been playing some better football. George Karlaftis, I want to see more from him, because people have been telling me his rookie year was kind of very disappointing. So I'll say, I'm going to give CGJ his flowers, even though I still don't like him as an Eagles fan for doing what he did during the offseason. Yep.
You played your heart out, man. Played your heart out. I'm putting my bias aside here. You did your thing. I wish it was still for Philly, but whatever.
The only downside to that was it just seems like the Jahmyr Gibbs got a very limited amount of touches.
But Jahmyr Gibbs, he was just sitting on the bench for most of that game.
I'm thinking did they put him on a snap count or did he get hurt? Because he was grabbing it.
I have no idea. I'm like, dude, he was doing some good things in that first quarter. Why aren't you keeping him out there?
And look, I like David Montgomery, but he hasn't really been what he once was. I'm sorry, like he's a decent number 2, but when you look at and granted, yes, he had some big plays. I'll give him that. But look at this last year before the offseason, after he walked away from Chicago, 201 rushes for over almost very under 1,000 yards with 5 touchdowns. All were career lows, and they pointed that out perfectly because running backs, and I said this countless times, and most fans do. It's not a valuable position like it used to anymore. Remember, like the last 15, 20 years, like a lot of teams back then valued running backs. But now, looking at how this position takes a toll on those guys' bodies, you can see why a lot of teams are replacing running backs. Think about it. You have Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery. We're supposed to be right now currently the replacements for DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. But regardless, though, they still got the job done, even though shout out to Kirk Bankert, who actually had a spot on prediction when I watched a little of a clip of his. Like, he predicted that the Lions were going to win 21-20 in a tough, gritty fight with the Kansas City Chiefs.
He might have not been a good quarterback in the league, but he is a prediction master. Getting the score down to a T like that, Kurt Bankert, you're a genius. You are a genius, my dude.
But there's a lot of things.
You got that score perfectly. You had a minuscule chance, like everybody else does, to predict that right, and you did it. What's the odds of getting that? Like 0.5 or 0.0000001?
I would say just slim to none at that point. But there's a lot of things too when you look at this game. Like there's different things were going on. Number one, you had Travis Kelce out with a hyperextended knee, which was crucial because let's be real, that oh boy. Can we talk about how trash the wide receiver core is for Kansas City? Holy!
Oh my gosh, the entire team, the entire team, bro, butter on their hands.
Except Rashid Rice.
Yeah, Rashid Rice, he balled out of his mind. But then again, why in the ever-living heck did you pick up
Kadarius
Toney, knowing dang well you knew you were getting after last year him dropping balls at the time.
And it's kind of funny too, and I even said this too way before we brought this show into place. I bet the Giants fans are probably laughing their rear ends off because, like, because
for a fact they're full on belly laughing at that, like we were.
Which is also also the funny thing too. When Kadarius Toney got drafted to the Giants, guess who his player comp was? Tyreek Hill was his player comp because of his speed. But you full well know that Tyreek Hill has.
Here's the problem: he has the speed. He's a very crafty route runner. But he can't catch the ball after he runs the route. He's
got all the Tyreek Hill abilities, and he's got Nelson Aguilar type of hands.
Dude, he's got he's got two players in this comparison here. He's got Aguilar hands and Tyreek Hill route running. That's all he has. And the one crucial thing that's hurting him right now, he's got Aguilar hands.
Now, if he had better hands, I think that it would have been a nice steal for the Kansas City Chiefs. But then again, it is,
and let me even that too. He has good speed, but there was like one play that irked me, and it gave me nightmares of when Aguilar used to do it, getting open down the field, knowing you have a lot of green. Dude, he got a lot of green in front of him. That was a touchdown all day. You have Patrick Mahomes throwing it up right through Tony's hands. Right through his hands. He was open. All he had to do was catch the ball and run down to the end zone. Take it to the house. You had Mahomes put it, dude. He had Mahomes. He threw it to him. Mahomes is right on the money with the throw. It was right in the breadbasket, and you drop it.
And the reaction from Mahomes says it all. Say, "What are you doing?"
And he was like, he threw his hands up, like, dude.
That's like you could look. See, that's the thing too. You know, Mahomes. Look, don't get me wrong. You know, he makes some good throws, but like we said, the wide receiver core can't catch crap unless you're Rashid Rice and Isaiah Pacheco out of the backfield. Who that's besides the point. And also,
yeah, when you have a running dude, when you have a running back outside of, you have a running back in the backfield catching more passes than half of the receiving core, you have an issue.
Honestly, I do look. I'm not going to really overreact. Say, "Oh, the Chiefs have a problem," but it's something to keep an eye out. If because Travis Kelce is getting up, he's going to be 34 this October. I think that should look. I'm not saying that's going to play a factor, but what happened?
I don't think that plays a factor. I think he stayed relatively healthy through his career. He had that hyperextended leg issue. I think that should be cleared up by next week. I don't think, a hyperextended knee is like whatever. You're gonna be hurting for like a week or two, and then you're fine.
But like I said, I'm not really gonna overreact because, like I said, okay, so yeah, it's just week one. It's like you gotta get at least the rust out.
Everybody's just getting back, and then again, you've seen the preseason. With most of these teams, they don't even play their starters for all the preseason. Yeah. Look at us. We even play our starters at all preseason.
Because for me, I feel like the preseason, if you're not going to have your players your starters do preseason, I mean, just cut the preseason in its entirety at that point. But that's just
honestly no, because you need that. Honestly, no, because you need preseason to evaluate your talent.
True.
In true live game scenarios, if you're going, he didn't do good in a practice situation, so what is he going to do in a game? We don't know that. We don't know he can do in a game because you don't give yourself eye test as a coach if you don't have preseason. So they need preseason.
And like I said, I see some Chiefs fans, pretty much overreact, like pump the brakes.
Bro.
Now
I saw one Chiefs fan in the comments go, "We're not winning the Super Bowl this year after one game."
Look,
dude, calm down. You're starting to sound like Phillies fans after a bad loss.
You ain't kidding. But here's my thing as well. Like I said, if this continues, let's just say that hypothetically, if this continues, I would say past week 5, then I think it's.
I would say if they start the season maybe like 1-4, 1-5, then you should be like, okay, something's up here.
It's very concerning, and the fact Andy Reid, look, as much as I love Andy, but boy, he has a big what as well. Try to go on 4th and 20. Who does that? That's like
he tried to replicate what he did in Philly with McNabb and what's his face. And that worked then. But this ain't 2004, bro.
No, because our number one receiver was Terrell Owens.
Yeah, you had Terrell Owens, but he didn't catch the ball. It was I think it was Freddie Mitchell who caught the ball. It was 4th and 25.
I've never heard that name in years. Good Lord.
Freddie Mitchell, 04. It was Freddie Mitchell 04. I remember that play fondly. But that's the thing. That's the thing. He thought it would work again.
Nope.
You have guys who have butter for hands.
I mean, you have like NFL
it's not gonna work.
Sharing a picture of a Butterfingers candy bar. It's like,
bro, dude. Us in the chat, we have a little group chat, guys, that we run between people that we work with here. We all had a field day.
And boy, it's not just that. Shout out to our boy Jake Silva for being a Chargers fan. Boy, he's having a field day with that because for those who are AFC,
Jake was the start of it. We just kept it going
because
we had a field day with that.
Like Raiders fans are happy that the Chiefs lost. I know probably Broncos fans are, and same with the Chargers fans. Now,
yeah.
Look, I do think like I said, do I think the Chiefs are going to back to the Super Bowl? Absolutely. But I
think so too. I think
they're going to take a bit of a step back because think about it.
Yeah.
You got Chris Jones is asking for a ton of money for a defensive tackle, and that was another key storyline going into Week 1 with Chris Jones holding out. Not just going to Week 1 before the season started. Like he said, look, I'm going to hold out till I get my money because right now the highest defensive tackle is Nick Bosa, and right for god dang so.
Yeah. And what has Chris Jones done last year? I don't know.
I mean, last year he had 15.5 sacks, and
See, I could see where, I want my money because I gave you guys 15 sacks.
It's not the first time that Chris Jones has given. I think he's done that 3 times during his tenure with Kansas City. And for those who are,
I feel like if this is the 3rd time, then you should be like, okay. I know you want your money, but you need to not hold out on us again.
Yeah, and Keith say Chiefs better call him because guess who's another disgruntled star over there? Mike Evans. He's looking for money.
I honestly would try to pick up Mike Evans here because again, half of the dang team for the Chiefs can't catch.
Because I mean, look, Sky Moore. I think is a nice receiver, but I don't think Sky Moore is the number 1 receiver. I think that's you need an established guy that's been a number 1 for a while. And I think Mike Evans could be. But then again, though, the Chiefs don't even have much right because think about it, they've put a lot of money into. I think I probably bet they probably had barely any salary cap because remember they still got they gave Patrick Mahomes 10 years, $450 million, and you could imagine how many.
But again, Rob, they did what we did with Hurts. They backloaded it. Remember, that's why they were able to sustain that success that they had since 2020.
That's true.
Was because they backloaded a lot of that money. So a lot of that money, they're not seeing. The salary goes up a little bit each year, but they backloaded a lot of that money. So they still have enough.
He also put up a good point. Where the hell was Scantling? Scantling was freaking MIA. He was like pretty much.
Scantling was the reason why I started losing in fantasy, but he was also the reason why I'm like right there in fantasy. I could take the lead at any moment.
And that's the thing too. Only 2 catches from Scantling, but right now the only the person that led the team in receptions was Isaiah Pacheco. Really, you're running back.
When your top receiver is your running back,
that's concerning.
That is concerning for sure.
Because
when your top receiver is your running back, come on.
Because the way I look at it is because we originally thought, okay, so with Tyreek Hill leaving, saying there's no way that Patrick Mahomes is going to struggle, or not say struggle, but could do better without him.
Dude, as soon as they replace him with Kadarius Toney.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, they're going to struggle because and I was saying they're going to struggle, but it isn't going to be on Mahomes at all. That's what I was saying.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying as well. I mean, look, if Mahomes can put it on the money and if Kadarius Toney can't catch it, then you got a problem. That you need to do something with your wide receivers.
That's why when Mahomes reacted the way he reacted on that potential bomb that got dropped, I'm like, I feel you. That was an easy money throw that you threw. That was around the money, Mahomes, and he dropped.
It's literally,
he sold you. He sold you.
Despite blowing, obviously the Lions blowing. Well, I think it was like double coverage. I think it was, and still couldn't catch it.
He burnt. Yeah, it was double coverage. He burnt that double coverage by a mile, and Mahomes put it. He put it on the money, and he drops it. It was right in the breadbasket too.
Yeah, that is true. Tony.
What was the comment? Hold on, bring it up. They made Tony delete his Twitter.
Yes.
I think, honestly, I think here's the thing. He's reacting just like Aguilar.
because you knew you screwed. Like the Chiefs
You knew
had an
you knew you screwed up. You knew you screwed up. I almost dropped an F-bomb just now. Excuse me. You knew you screwed up.
Yeah,
you knew
Sky
you
Moore
did.
had some crucial drops as well. Like I said, that entire wide receiver core is, it's just a dumpster fire at that point. Well, outside of, I think Marcus Valdez-Scantling, I think he's a solid, for me.
MVS is fine. He just wasn't getting
number 2.
He wasn't getting a lot. I don't think was he getting a lot of balls thrown to him?
I don't think it was that much.
He only had the 2 catches.
So he got targeted very limitedly.
Yeah, there was very limited touches for him, or very limited balls thrown to him. Mahomes is trying his best to share the rock to everybody. The problem is nobody but MVS, Pacheco, and
that's
the other guy. That's it. That is it.
And what's also funny about
Pacheco. Here's your offense. Here's your offense for you guys. You have Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback, and all you have is MVS and Pacheco.
I mean, if Travis Kelce wasn't here, you also had Kelce as well.
Here's the thing. I feel like if Kelce returns, he's gonna have to carry.
Yeah,
he's gonna.
Him
and MVS are gonna have to carry that team.
And that's right. They don't have Eric Bieniemy as the OC because remember he went to Washington, and
Matt OC for Washington now. So you lost your OC, you lost your receiving core, pretty much.
Because when we thought, okay, I think Patrick, this entire Chiefs team can do better without the help with Eric Bieniemy as the OC. Honestly, as we saw early on, you can see there's a lot of struggles there. Now, going back to what I said about Chris Jones,
I don't think it was. But here's the thing: I don't think it was the OC's fault. I think it was more so on the guys not catching the football.
See, and this is the thing too. If I was look, I know Andy Reid's not the kind of the hard-nosed guy, but at some point he's got to tear some of his players.
I bet you amount of he's more like laid back and talking about.
He's more like Rod Thompson is in baseball, in a sense. He's very laid back.
Yeah, there's not going to be like Rob Thompson having beers in the locker room. There ain't going to be any of that.
You also had Noah Gray.
Noah Gray was actually pretty good too. Noah Gray was fine.
Yeah, guys, they weren't getting targeted.
Then they targeted they targeted the guys that weren't catching the football. But the problem is that's not on Mahomes in the offense or Mahomes himself.
It's the play calling.
It's not the play calling. It's the receivers. The OC is fine. Mahomes is fine. Problem is you have guys who don't catch the football. The one thing you need to do to win games, catch the football.
And like I said, going back to Chris Jones, I'm sorry. That's right. I'm sorry. I said it 3 times, but he's done it. Chris Jones has done it twice of having 15 and a half sacks. So in his rookie, when we look at this from his rookie year, 28 combined tackles, 11 assisted tackles, 2 sacks. I mean, decent numbers. Then he bumps up his sacks, but his assist total kind of went down a bit. But 2018, he had 40 combined tackles, 5 tackles for assisted tackles, 1 pick, and that resulted in a 20-yard return to the house. Also completing with 15 and a half sacks, and then 2022 had 15 and a half as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because let's be real, we all know the defensive tackle market is, boy, it is nuts in terms of the value. Because remember, when you looked at the last couple of years with the defensive tackle market, you had Aaron Donald pretty much held it for a while. And I think, who am I thinking of right now that got paid?
I'm not sure.
It's going to come back to me. But he had Larry Tunsil get a bag, and be rightfully so. He played pretty well, actually, with Houston. And then you got Nick Bosa getting the bag, because let's bro, he's been – because think about it, because – and that's the thing, too. Like, it's like, oh, what's a defensive – when you lose a defensive tackle like a Chris Jones or a Nick Bosa, you'd be surprised of the – because, look, Chris Jones is very impactful.
Those are big holes to fill, so to speak.
Yeah, and if you lose them, oh boy,
Oh,
you're taking a huge hit. It may not sound like
You're
as
in
much.
trouble if you lose a guy like an Aaron Donald or a Nick Bosa. You are screwed.
You are screwed out the wazoo because now, yes, do I think? I mean, look, like I said, Bosa deserved the back that he got. Let's be real. The dude always is Mr. Consistency. And before it's like, look, let's say we got a better deal elsewhere besides the 49ers. Could you imagine? Just imagine the hit that defense is going to take. People say, "Oh, and let's be real, it's going to be over the top 5 defense, flat out. It is what it is." But losing a guy like Nick Bosa, hypothetically, even though it's now obviously, like I said, with the extension, you could be surprised. You'd be surprised that this defense is not going to be functional as what it once was. Yeah. Because I think, and that's the thing. Yeah, and you can tell with Chris Jones holding out that defensive line, they just got torched on the ground. Well, I think what was it, 121 rushing yards in total for most of that game?
Dude, they were getting ran all over. And I'm going to look this up,
Because that's what I'm thinking. It's going to at least be almost at least between 120 to almost 130 rushing yards because, boy, they were getting trampled on the ground.
All right, I'm going to look at the ground stats here. So bear with me. All right, passing yards, rushing yards. Honestly, they didn't do too bad. Considering, to be honest. All right, I'm using Google. It's very limited. Let me go to NFL, the NFL app here. It's only giving me like one running back. There was a couple running backs that played. So bear with me, guys. Sorry.
But really looking.
But
overall, it was still a good game nonetheless. I've really enjoyed
it. It was, man. It was.
Because usually when you look at the previous week 1 games, most of the time it's either one-sided or just very disappointing. That, like I said, no one got, and to be quite honest, I think they hyped up that game pretty well. I thought they actually did really some good marketing for it. Now, do I think, like I said, I think this division, this NFC North could be a potential way, the Lions to lose, basically, because right now you're playing with other teams that are, besides the Vikings, are decent. I mean, Green Bay, we don't know exactly what they're looking like, and the Bears, well, they're just going to be completely ass. Sorry, Gooley, yeah. I just had to be. But then again, most realistic Bears fans will understand, like they're going through a rebuild.
Excuse me, guys, I have a slow freaking phone for some reason. All right, I didn't want to do that. Let's go to stats. So combined, you had 34 attempts from Detroit, and the Chiefs gave up 118 yards combined between 2 players. Montgomery got 74. Jahmyr Gibbs got 42.
Yeah,
and here's the thing: he got 42 on 7 attempts, 7 carries.
Yeah, Jahmyr.
So to tell me you couldn't stop him on limited carries,
and that's the thing.
A problem. That is a problem. He averaged 6 yards a carry.
Oof.
That was the majority of like their issue there was with Jahmyr Gibbs in that sense. Montgomery they only gave up like 3 yards. They only gave up 3 yards a carry, but still 74 yards on the ground.
I mean, look, Goff, solid stat line, 22 for 35, 253 yards and a touchdown.
Oh yeah, that man was carving up that defense like a Thanksgiving turkey.
And Josh, look, I think let's be real. I think Detroit's got some really nice receivers. Josh Reynolds, where the hell did he come from? Let's be completely honest. 4 receptions for 80 yards.
Out of his ever-living mind last night.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, Les Brill, still one of the underrated receivers in the league. Don't at me on that. But Sam Laporta, rookie tight end, it's like, you know what? I think this guy was solid in college, but let's see what he can do at the NFL level. Not too shabby. 5 receptions for 35 yards on 5 targets. Khalif Raymond, solid. Brock Wright, 2 receptions for 17 yards. So it's pretty much been pretty much even from the Detroit's offensive side in terms of what you want to see from your receivers.
Yeah, they've been really, really good. They were really good.
But rushing yards, oh, good Lord. I'll say, this is I've actually had really liked with this game. Besides Kansas City gave a lot of rushing yards, it's been pretty much almost even, dead even between these two teams. I was like, boy. But then again, knowing the Lions if you saw from what happened last year, first 7 games were 1-6. I think went on really got hot at the right time and finished 9-8 and just barely missed the playoffs because of a tiebreaker to Seattle.
Yeah, and honestly, I expect them to make that huge leap forward. They beefed up their defense tremendously, getting guys like
Is that CJ Gardner Johnson?
CJ Gardner Johnson.
Kind of reached on Jack Campbell a little bit in my eyes.
I mean, he had a fine game. He was fine.
And Jahmyr Gibbs was another guy that I've always said that was a reach. But
Jahmyr Gibbs was not a reach. Let's be honest.
In my eyes, it was
limited care, dude.
Now, yes, the limited carries was concerning.
Limited carry. No, not. But that's the thing. He had limited carries, but he had 42 yards. He was good. That's the thing, and he's a dog. I said it last night.
I mean, and Brian Branch. That kid's going to be something special for Detroit. That kid is going to.
Unfortunately, week one, he got hurt.
That's like after having his first pick 6 against Patrick Mahomes. Who would have thought that would have been possible?
But the thing is, it was an assisted pick too. It was an assisted pick.
Yep.
So it's not all on him. It's not all on him there. But here's the thing, man. This team is for real. This Lions team is for real.
You could see it last year. Like this team, they're slowly coming to.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, I admired them all last year on this channel when it was the Philly Sports Talk podcast channel. A little bit of a history lesson for you guys with the channel here. I told you guys this Lions team is scrappy. Watch out for them Lions.
I mean, look, we can put our hands up. They gave us a fight when we first played them week 1.
And that was when I started to praise them heavily.
Because, I mean, look at this entire franchise.
They scored 30 points against a top defense. Us, a top defense. I think we had the number 2 defense in the league.
Yeah.
And then
they made us look like chumps.
They made us look like morons out there on defense. That's the thing. But that's the thing.
We couldn't tackle Jamal Williams, and we certainly could not tackle DeAndre Swift. So thank God we have DeAndre Swift.
Thank God we have him now. But that's the thing. This team was scrappy, and that's when I first started saying this. This team is scrappy. Look out for the Lions. And all year I had been saying it.
Because
they kind of dipped down a bit, and I'm like, I think they're in trouble a little bit. But
yeah, they kind of hit that cold stretch when they lost. When they went 1-6 through the first 7 games. But I think after their bye week, they came out hot.
But that's the thing. Even in their 1-6 stretch, I'm like, I can see this team winning. Hold on for a minute.
And
1-6. Yeah, that looks scary. They look like they're done. But after that 1-6, they woke up, and I'm like, I told you guys.
And they finished above.
They finished above one game over 500, which I'm like, all right,
because
they didn't have the best season in terms of record, but I was telling fans, I was telling football fans on this channel, I was telling them on this channel, man, watch out for them Lions. Every single game I think they were 0-1 to 1-6. And in that entire stretch, when they were not winning games, I'm like, look out. Yeah, this team is for real. Wait a minute. Be patient. And look what happened.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about this too, before we move on to our next topic of conversation, look how long this franchise has been. These been rebuilding since 1957. And they've been around this franchise has been around since the 30s. And yes, you had an opportunity to add some best players over the years. I mean, guys in Calvin Megatron, Barry Sanders, unfortunately. And yes, the only downside to those teams where you had a competent front office, which now the last couple of years, they've done a really good job. Honestly, a year and a half, I would say, up to this point, have done a really good job of trying to get some good, let's be real, some impactful pieces. Because if you looked at last year, like you could see, like they were missing some, not say key pieces, but some they could use some impactful players. And boy, they really did. Mostly on the defensive end of the football, because the offense was actually pretty solid. I mean, look, they were in competitive games. It's not like they were getting blown out left and right. Like you could see.
I think in that 1-6 stretch, I think they lost a lot of those games by one score, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, exactly. Like they are very competitive. And that's
that's why I was saying it all last year, man. When they were going through that 1-6 stretch, look out for them lines. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient.
And look, it's just division. This is a wide open division. You got the Bears who are hot trash. Green Bay.
You have the Packers who had just lost Aaron Rodgers, and they're looking for, they're looking for that.
Jordan Love.
Yeah, they're looking for that same success with Jordan Love. They're looking for that success, but the thing is, he's a rookie, essentially.
The fact that he's in his fourth year in the league, he could sit behind Rodgers for 3 years.
So that could help him, but we don't know. So that's why we're seeing
the Vikings, who I think are going to take a bit of a step back in terms.
They might, they might, because they lost the receiving core too. They followed him. They followed Aaron Rodgers to New York.
Well, it's not just that too, but the Viking, and that's right too. And like I said, I called the Jets the New York Packers because you have Alan Lazard went over there. For some reason, you brought Randall Cobb over there. But then again, we looked at the receiving core from the Jets from this year to now. Yeah, it's a slight improvement. Yes, you got two guys. Well, Randall Cobb's pretty much old.
Randall Cobb isn't terrible.
He's still decent, but it's going to make you question, like, how much longer does he have left on the tires, so to speak? And the fact that
you could see the tires getting a little bit flatter and flatter, but that's the thing. He's still a solid player. Milk that until the gas runs out, man. That's the thing with the Jets. But also I think they're milking Aaron Rodgers till the gas runs out too, because look at last year, didn't have the best season.
40. That's the crazy part.
He's pushing 40. So they're taking a huge gamble with this. And so speaking of the other teams in the league, let's go through our week 1 predictions.
Let's do it.
All right, I'm gonna pull up the Pick'em thing because I don't remember, schedule. Silly me, not knowing the dang schedule to the season here. So bear with me again. Where is CBS at? Jeez, I can't even find an app on my phone. Okay, I know how this whole app works. All right, so let's look at our picks here, or look at my pick here. All right, so first up, 1:00 Sunday afternoon, we have the Washington Commanders versus the Cardinals. I got the Commanders winning this because the Cardinals are
Washington. Because for those who have seen.
The Cardinals are in trouble. They're in trouble.
I think there's more trouble. They are dead, DOA, dead on arrival, basically.
Oh.
I mean, think
about
it. That's the
best way to put it, man.
Because here, look, I'm not saying that facetiously, but look at this roster. It is horrible.
The only good player that they have on that offense, and he's getting older, is Zach Ertz. That's it.
And
the rest of the receiving core is nobody.
And it's bad if you have Josh Dobbs as your starting quarterback. Heck no, that's a
so you basically are punting the season by not starting Kyler Murray, like he's any better.
Kyler Murray's coming off right now. It's on the PUP list from a torn ACL from last year.
Right. Yeah, he did have the. He did have the.
Here's the losses that the Cardinals have lost. They lost key pieces on the defensive end. You had J.J. Watt retire because of health issues. A.J. Green retired because of his age. Marquise Brown is hurt. You got rid of your best
Kyler's hurt. Kyler's hurt.
Like, it's a mess.
Bro,
down in Arizona.
Dude, looking at that roster, I'm like, that's 2-14.
I say 0-17. I'm sorry. Under Jonathan
and
Gannon,
I would not. I do not disagree with that because this team is trash.
Because
dude, so let's look at their floor and their ceiling, right? Their floor, 0-16. Their ceiling, 2-14. That tells you how bad the team is going to be.
Oh, think about it. I think they're going 0-17. The last time a team that has not done that was even though at the time it was 16 games, was the 08 Detroit Lions. Remember how bad they were?
Oh, yeah, the same season where Orlovsky ran in the back of the end zone.
Yep. I do think they're going to go 0-17. It's what's also crazy about the Cardinals. We think because before they were turning complete garbage, look how good they were in the past years. I thought this team could have been a Super Bowl contender on paper. You guys had,
my God. And then they made the massive dude. For some reason, Kyler Murray miraculously forgot how to throw the football in the playoffs, and he still hasn't recovered from that. Still hasn't recovered.
I mean, you got James Conner in the backfield, who's been injury prone as hell. I really hate to say that because dude, when he's healthy, he's a phenomenal running back, but he's just been injury prone as hell. Rondell Moore, very unreliable. I mean, you got You got Marlon Mack as your running back too. Oh my God!
The entire team, bro. The entire team.
Horrible.
The roster makeup is atrocious, man.
And you got a crappy head coach as well, which doesn't make anything better.
Who's their coach again?
Yep.
Who's their coach again?
Gannon.
Exactly.
Honestly, Gannon's.
And if you want to know why that we think as a head coach, he sucks. Look at that one video when you're trying to hype up the team. No one wanted to be hype. They don't like the guy. They don't even want to listen to the guy because they know how bad he is.
Oh, that's not good. When I'm looking at the receiver, the receiver. You thought Kansas City's receiver core was trashy.
Oh, this receiving core for Arizona makes me want to projectile vomit. That's how bad it is.
This receiving core is making the Kansas City's looks better.
Oh dear God.
I mean, left tackle. So this is basically your front seven. You have DJ Hunter's at left tackle, Elijah Wilkinson at left guard, Hashot Froholt at your center. Hashot, some Swedish name. Froholt at center.
Exactly. Right. If I'm saying who, you know it's bad.
I'm sorry. I read that. Okay, it's weird how they did the depth chart. Right guard is Will Hernandez. Right tackle, Paris Johnson Jr. I thought we should get you a little nice pickup because I do think the right tackle spot was weak.
Paris Johnson, that was a good pick.
Zach Ertz, how much longer does he have? Because he's been starting to become injury prone.
He's aging.
Stinks. I love Ertz. At some point, he's got to start considering. I mean, look, his wife already retired because I know she was getting up there in age. I know that's kind of all talk.
Honestly, I'm more pissed off right now at Howie Roseman. Fact that you traded him to such a trash team.
I'm sorry.
You could trade him anywhere else. Because I knew you were trying to rebuild. I knew what you were trying to do there. And we had Goddard, and he was a good replacement. But you traded him to a trash team, Howie? Come on, man.
The other wide receivers, you got Rondell Moore, Greg Dortch, Michael Wilson, and Zach Pascal. That's your other five receivers because right now wide receiver one is Mark.
The fact that they're starting Zach Pascal makes me laugh.
No, technically Zach Pascal is a backup to Michael Wilson. So your starting receivers is Marquise Brown is 1, Rondell Moore 2, and your wide receiver 3 is Michael Wilson.
And it's not like Zach Pascal is any better.
I mean, he had his moments, but he's been inconsistent. Quarterbacks. Well, that's not great. You got Josh Dobbs, your starter, backups Clayton Tune. Running backs, James Conner, injury prone. Keontae Ingram, who the heck is that? And Emerald DiMercado, who the heck is that as well? That is the entire depth
You got
chart.
A bunch of no names and players who were trash.
Oh, let's look at the defense. Because I know that's going to take a hit. Defensive end, LJ Collier, Lecky Fotu is your nose tackle. Jonathan Ledbetter is your defensive end. Outside linebacker, Dennis Gardeck. Inner linebacker, Kaiser White. kind of trash. Josh Woods is your other.
Patrick White didn't do nothing for Philly. I'm sorry, he didn't do nothing for Philly.
Josh Woods is your other inner linebacker. Xavier Collins, outside linebacker. Your corner is Catrell Clark and Marco Wilson. Your safeties, Jalen Thompson. I'm surprised Budabaker shouldn't need. I'm sorry, Budabaker needs to get the heck out of there. I'm sorry. There's
Same thing for Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz and Budabaker. Ask for trades now.
Because
right. Is bad.
Or if I'm Zach Ertz, just retire. So you don't have to worry about it at the same time. But then again,
I bet you he's going to do that. He's going to pull. Remember that one player that was on a team so bad that he retired at halftime?
Oh, that was oh crap! What the hell was that? That was Le'Veon Bell. That might have been Le'Veon Bell. How the hell?
It wasn't Le'Veon Bell.
No, who am I thinking of?
It was somebody else. He was on the defensive side of the ball.
Crap! He was on the Steelers. I remember. It was on the
Steelers.
The team
was so bad he retired mid-game.
Oh, God, that's gonna drive me nuts. I know his name. I can't remember the face.
I'm looking this up. All right. Player retired at halftime. Vontae Davis.
Who?
Vontae Davis.
Who the hell is that?
He played in 2019. You don't know who Vontae Davis is? Come on.
I see. That's the name. That's not
he
the
was
name.
A player, man. And it was
God. Vontae Davis. He was the last guy I would have guessed. I mean,
no, it was for the Buffalo Bills in 2019.
Why do we think it was the Steelers?
No, it was the Bills, and the Bills were okay. The Bills were an okay.
Why did I think Le'Veon Bell pulled that off? Because I don't know. God, football has come to. God, I cannot remember last guy. Jeez,
I'm looking up Le'Veon Bell to see if he actually did that.
If he pulled it,
no, he's still playing, but he's a free agent. No one picked him up.
Well, he hasn't really been that good
because he lost the touch. But he's going through a lot of lady problems. It looks like.
Well, sucks to be him, doesn't it?
Yep,
but moving back onto the predictions before.
My single butt don't care. Back to our predictions though. We have same time, 1 o'clock. We got the Falcons and Panthers. Who do you got?
I got the Falcons. Now here's why. Because yes, you're going to have more of a test with Desmond Ridder. Bryce Young, he's another guy. We don't know how he's going to perform at the NFL level. When you look at the roster construction, I'd say if it favors more with the Falcons. Now, yes, we have Bijan Robinson and both Tyler Algier in the backfield, even though let's be real, drafting Bijan was questionable by the Falcons when he already had a 1,000-yard running back in Tyler Algier. That's besides the point. You really bolstered that defense in that secondary, getting Jesse Bates. They've really made some moves, but do I think there's and the Panthers? Well, like I said, the entire Panthers is a huge question mark to me. I like Frank Reich, but how much is he going to really be impactful with the players that he has? With the fact you have Brian Burns, who knows with his contract status, and I think he's another guy is kind of holding out right now. It is. I don't know what's going on down in Charlotte.
And now you're trying to. And now I get what they're trying to do because they tried to try to bolster the wide receiving core, getting Adam Thielen, but he's older. He's an older guy. And also you're putting all this trust into a rookie quarterback first year.
Yeah, and let's be real, you haven't really had that much trust since Cam Newton. And it's been that long since when Cam Newton actually. And let's just say, look, if Adam Thielen can produce still at the level he's at, look, that's still a nice pickup. But if you can see the decline / regression, yeah, that's kind of looking terrible. And I think also was it a 3-year deal he signed with the Panthers, and he said they're going to make the Super Bowl. Boy, how out of touch of reality were you when you made that comment? When Thielen made his comment, said, "Oh, we're going to be a Super Bowl contender." Heck, but no, you're not.
But then again, their receiving core looks kind of nice, though.
I mean,
to be honest.
I mean, you have Adam Thielen. I know they brought in another wide receiver. I can't think of his name.
DJ Chark.
And Chark's been good.
Chark's been pretty good.
He's been a solid receiver. So that's a nice little 1-2 punch. But who's the wide receiver 3? Because I know that you got rid of DJ Moore. I know he's going to.
They're wide receiver 3. Hold on. Jonathan Mingo, I think.
Mingo?
Wait.
He's been an okay receiver. His rookie year was actually been
Jonathan
okay.
Mingo.
So you got a nice little.
And the plus there too. He's only 22.
Yeah, you know what?
He's got pretty good hands. I like what he did last year.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Mingo was, I've liked. Now, and that's, I think, what concerns me a little bit is the secondary, because can J.C. Horn actually stay healthy for a change? J.C. Horn's become a bit injury prone in my
that's a big spot. He plays cornerback, so it's like a huge spot.
I mean, look, the rest of the defense is fine, or at least okay to an extent, but now you have Brian Burns not looking for a new deal. That's kind of concerning. I mean, the fact that you even want to actually traded him. And,
I feel like that's why they had to go with. That's why they drafted, DJ Johnson the way they did, and they got Shaq Thompson.
Shaq Thompson's been okay, but DJ Johnson, I'm not entitled to know much about. But I do think this is going to be a close game, that's for sure. But if Bryce Young can do what he did at Alabama and replicate it and be even more at the end of his rookie year, I don't be surprised. I think this could end in a field goal. I can see how this game is going to go.
I feel like it'll end in a field goal. I feel like
to add to that, I think there's going to be a lot of penalties on both sides, because if I remember correctly, these two teams were not saying the most heavy penalized, but they got some smacked with a lot of penalties last year.
I feel like that's the one thing they should. That's the one thing I'm going to look out for. If the penalty problem continues or not, I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen week 1 on Sunday, but the penalties, could they continue?
It's battle of the NFC South, probably one of the crappiest divisions of football. Let's be real.
Bro, dude, that whole division, dude, literally the division winner for the NFC South had an 8-9 record.
That's that's disgraceful.
8-9 record. That's pretty bad.
Washed up Tom Brady, even though I want to say he really washed up, but I think his age finally caught up to him after all this time. And
honestly, that your age really caught up, and that's why he said after last year, he said, "Yep, I'm done." And I was like, "All right, I'm calling BS. I'm gonna wait till preseason," and that's why he still is retired right now.
And it was also crazy about look at the quarterback play. The only best quarterback you can make the argument that's in this division is Derek freaking Carr, because you got Derek Carr, you got Desmond Ridder, you have Bryce Young. Who's the other team in the NFC South that I can't think of at the moment?
Bucks.
Who?
Did you say the Bucks?
Oh yeah, the Tampa Buccaneers. You got Baker Mayfield. Holy crap, that's terrible. Like, what was the last? Because if you looked at the
honestly, I don't think Baker Mayfield's that bad. Man, he's decent. Look at last year. He was decent. I mean, he was decent when he went to the Rams. But
I mean, right now, in terms of you're going to ask us who's
the best. I want to see if he resurges with the Bucks. With that receiving core, I highly doubt it. But still.
What up, Steve?
What's up, Steve? But yeah, I feel like
with that receiving core,
guys are dropping the ball except for Mike Evans. But anyway,
Chris Godwin can't stay healthy. I mean,
Chris
look,
can't stay healthy.
Fournette's still out there.
Stay healthy. But anyway, though,
moving on.
Panthers, I don't. But Panthers, though, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do.
They're a question mark,
and that's why I'm choosing the Falcons here, because that team is just one big question mark.
Yeah, I mean, look, outside of the receiving core, I think you got to give that to. Actually, what is the Falcons receiving core looking like? But if it's not, damn it. But yeah, I was higher on this one. Like the Panthers, even before I even said this, last year, like you could see where this team is headed, and
like I see the vision. You're trying to develop this new quarterback. I get that. It's a good move. Get a younger guy who you can try to develop. And I can see why they hired Frank Reich. He's a good coach.
he's a quarterback
He
guru.
he's a quarterback guru, and you just drafted a quarterback this year. So I feel like if you want proper development, you need a quarterback guru in a guy like Frank Reich. And I feel like that'll help tremendously. But, right now they're a question mark. Right now.
So this is okay. So the Falcons, you have Drake London, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, Matt Collins, Scott Miller is your wide receiver 3 for Atlanta.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
I think wide receiver 1, I will say I would have to get the wide receiver core slight edge to the Panthers. I think they have some good names, but Drake London
and also post Philly, Matt Collins has had a resurgence.
He has,
and I'm happy for him.
And right now, if you're asking me like who's the biggest person or like the biggest player to should break out this year for both teams, for me it'd be Kyle Pitts, because let's be real, Kyle Pitts last year was disappointing for as high as how high he was drafted. It's like I was like, okay, so it'd be a nice change at tight end. Nope, dude was disappointing in his rookie year. Constantly battled injuries, hardly ever stayed on the field, which was sad to say. The dude was a good talent, a prospect at Florida. Was it Florida? Yeah, Florida. But you also have your backup, Jonnu Smith, I think he's still an underrated tight end. But it's going to be interesting, like how's Jonnu Smith going to look since leaving New England. That's good because it remains to be seen. But look at the defense, though. I mean, Jeff Okudah has been kind of injury prone, which stinks. But right now, if it stays that way, you got Calais Campbell, which that was a interesting pickup for the left defensive end. David Onyemata, not terrible, but he was okay. Grady Jarrett, shout out to Clemson native, but we'll talk about Clemson later on because we got some interesting things. Arnold, I'm going to say Arnold E. I'm not going to pronounce that because I'm not going to risk my time with that. At your other line, so you pretty much have 4 linebackers. You pretty much run Arnold E., Troy Anderson, Caden Ellis, Bud Dupree. Solid, okay. I mean, decent linebacking core, but not the greatest on paper. We got AJ Terrell, another Clemson alumni, which is great to see. A little bit at left corner, Richie Grant at strong safety, decent, but not bad. Jesse Bates III, solid safety. But I was seeing this later, since before, it was kind of a little bit disappointing in a way before leaving Cincinnati. He's not really the greatest, but he was actually pretty decent for what he is. And you got Jeff Okudah, who, like I said before, has been injury prone. But I got the Falcons over the Panthers because right now, like I said,
the roster makeup is just like
it's like
you have to pick the Falcons here. But in the next game, again, same time, 1:00 slot, we have the Bengals and the Browns. And let me give you my take on things before you get your take.
Lay it on it.
The Browns, they have a good roster. Let's just say they have a pretty decent roster on paper. The problem is, can we see 2019 Deshaun Watson?
No.
Because we haven't seen, and we haven't seen him. Last year he was out for like half the year, more than half the year. Came back, didn't play that well because of rust. Now you have the entire season to really get it going. You probably have maybe 1 or 2 weeks where you're rusty. But if it keeps going and going and going, the quarterback carousel continues in Cleveland. But if he starts to really get it going by week 3, week 4, and he plays like 2019 Deshaun Watson, this team looks very promising. but it all rests on the quarterback play. Shocker that we're talking about the Browns and we're talking about quarterback play.
That's a horrible combination of the two.
And it's been like that since 2002. Let's be honest. Actually, it's been like that since '99 when they resurged as a team.
Because the original
when Baltimore took the team and they came back to Cleveland, or they didn't come out of Cleveland. Cleveland got the expansion in '99. So that's the thing with this. All stems from quarterback play. Can Deshaun Watson play like he did in 2019?
That remains to be seen.
Even 2020. When he was trying to carry his team through that atrocious season in 2020. But that's the thing, with this team, and it all stems from quarterback play. The Bengals, are the Bengals. Joe Burrow got his extension. He deserves it. He got his bag. The receiving core, really, really good. Jamar Chase, everybody on that team, that team is stacked. But the Bengals are the Bengals. Let's be honest.
But it's also what's also looking out, because right now you already paid Joe Burrow. You still got other players you got to pay. Guys like Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, they're still looking for deals. And whenever Jamar Chase's rookie contract's up, he's going to be looking for a lot of money. So they're going to have to keep that in mind.
Yep.
But moving. Besides that,
I got the Bengals.
I'm going to get the Bengals as well, but I would not be surprised if Deshaun Watson plays what he was in 2019 and got off a 2020 season. And I do think the Browns on paper, I think it could be somewhat competitive in the. I say that loosely because I think there's some. I like the wide receiver core in Amari Cooper. I think he has really. I think he's really stuck into Dallas, and unless Brio put up another 1,000-yard season, I would be surprised if he does it again. I do like Myles Garrett, on the defensive end. Denzel Ward's been a very nice little part of the secondary. Plus, you got a really nice running back in Nick Chubb, who is superhuman as hell. I mean, but when you really look at the rest of the roster construction, as Tyra put it, it doesn't really inspire much confidence, because it's like outside of Garrett, Chubb, Denzel Ward, and Amari Cooper, what do you really have? You pretty much have above to below average type of players. And quite honestly, I've seen predictions where the Browns are definitely going to be that bottom basement dweller in the AFC North, because right now I can see, and boy, I think this is going to be an ugly one for the Browns to take an L on this one. So I'm going with the Bengals, because I think the Bengals are going to put up a 30 burger on the Browns.
You think the defense is that bad to where they're putting up 30?
Outside of look, like I said, outside of Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, at times I can't trust it a little bit. Right. Outside those two.
Okay then. The next game, again, another 1 o'clock. There's a lot of 1 o'clock games. Jeez. We got the Ravens and the Texans. Now the Texans, don't get me wrong, they are scrappy. I think they will be. I feel like they'll be maybe an 8-win team this year. Maybe.
Absolutely.
I feel like they'll be an 8-win team. Ravens, though, they got Lamar Jackson. They got the receiving core. They got
finally
kind of a good defense. I don't know.
The defense has been. That's what Baltimore's really known is. They always know how to get some good defensive players. Kyle Hamilton had a really solid rookie season.
Yeah, they have a good defense, but then again, they kind of fall apart in the playoffs.
That is true. And also the fact that
they kind of fell apart. Then they kind of fell apart last year, mid-season. They bottomed out and missed the playoffs.
And also,
hold on. Here's my thing with this, right? Here's my thing. Yes, the Texans are scrapped. Problem is, do they have a quality guy at quarterback? Davis Mills wasn't all that last year.
Ugh.
Let's be honest here. Let's be let's be honest here. Davis Mills was not all that last year, and hopefully if all goes well, they do, develop. He develops in that case. But
it's
right now he got bumped down to second string because now they're trying to. Again, this is just like the Panther situation. They're putting all their trust in a rookie quarterback in C.J. Stroud. You also have the wide receiving core: Nico Collins, Robert Woods, David Schultz, or Dalton Schultz. The running back Damian Pierce. Now the line looks okay. You have Laramie Tunzel, Shaq Mason. Those guys look fine. The line looks fine. The thing is, how is CJ going to do? How is CJ going to do? Now, I do think this game is going to be close. It's definitely going to be a close game.
Absolutely.
And honestly, I will be eating my crow if the Texans win here. But I honestly see the Ravens. They're more experienced as a team in that sense.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So with the Texans side of things, one thing I want to see from the defense, stay healthy, because remember, most of that defense was banged up last year. Jalen Petrie was banged up. Derek Stingley Jr. was banged up.
Yeah. There was like 1,000 holes. There was like 1,000 holes in that defense.
I mean, Kenyon Green needs to step up as a part of that offensive line. Wide receiver core, it's okay, not the best in terms on paper, but if CJ Stroud can get the most amount with Robert Woods, Nico Collins, and the fact that, and look, in terms of quarterback play, it's always going to go to Lamar Jackson. But the thing with the Ravens is, yes, they finally got the receiving core, because remember, they relied on Mark Andrews way too many times because he had no receivers. Defense, I think it's going to take a bit of a hit because you lost Calais Campbell and Marcus Peters. Calais Campbell to the Falcons and Marcus Peters to the Raiders. Let's be real, the Raiders are going to be completely ass, but that's besides the point. But it also depends, what does Lamar Jackson look like coming off that PCL injury, which is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to watch. But I do think I got the Ravens, I say, by at least one. It's going to be like a one-score contest. It's not. Look, I do think now, unless somehow the Texans somehow completely crap the bed, that could be a whole different. That could be in different situations entirely. But for right now, you got to give it to the most experienced team and the Baltimore Ravens. Because right now, this team, I could see, not say win a division, but I think it should be at least playoff to Super Bowl. I wouldn't go say as far as Super Bowl contenders, but at least playoff contenders. Because I think there's, like I said, there's some holes in that defense where I think they kind of hold them back a little bit. Now, but then again, I've seen teams that are playoff contenders, but somehow become Super Bowl contenders. In my eyes. But I got the Ravens.
We've seen a few 9-7 teams make the Super Bowl and win it.
Yeah, that is absolutely true.
Anything can happen in the NFL, man. But anyway, I don't see that, dude. No, I don't see them winning by at least 3 touchdowns. No, that's bias speaking, man. I listen. I know.
It's possible. I'll say this too. I'll touch on it. But like I said, if the Houston completely craps the bed, both offensively, defensively, I can't see why not.
I can see. I can see. You can see why not. But here's the thing: do you really think that offense is going to be that bad to where they lose by 3 touchdowns?
I don't really.
I don't see that. Anyway.
But
I do see the Ravens winning. I do see the Ravens winning. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, let's just speed run through the last 4 1:00 games. There's like 1,000 1:00 games here.
Yep.
Colts, Jaguars. Who you got?
I got Jags. I'm sorry, I can't trust the Colts worth a damn.
Yep, me either. Steelers, Niners. Who do you got?
Niners. Sorry, Steelers fans. You're gonna get your ass whooped.
Vikings, Bucks.
God, give me the Vikings. I hate to say that because the Bucks are going to be ass.
Saints, Titans.
You know what? Give me the Saints. I think yes, I know. The Titans, can't trust them.
Yeah, me either. Bears, Packers. Or actually, no, wait. We're at the 425 games. We got the Bears and the Packers. Who do you got?
Oh, Christ. You got a team in the Packers who are a question mark, and you got a rebuilding team of the Bears. Now, it depends what Jordan Love is. God dang it. I can't make a give me the Bears. I don't know what Jordan Love's going to be looking like. And look at the receiving core with Christian Watson out, which stinks because that hurts my freaking fantasy team. You had to get hurt at the worst possible time. Well, that's besides the point. But it also depends. And the way I look at the Bears is the fact that if Justin Fields can, because right now the biggest thing that Justin Fields has to do is do it as a passer, because we all know he can run the football among the best in the game. Now you got some outside of DJ Moore, you're not really asking for. Well, I would say out of Moore and Mooney, your wide receiver 3 is suspect. But if Fields can get the best out of Darnell Mooney, your number 2, DJ Moore, your number 1, and a nice little in running back game. Now, what concerns me is the offensive line. That scares me for Justin Fields.
It's been that way for a few years since his rookie season. But the thing is too, though, they did address the offensive line in the draft this year, which
rightfully so. And
we will see how these players do pan out here. Yes, there's rookies on the line, so we don't know. This is a question mark still. We don't know how it's going to work out.
Right now, you got 2 teams are question marks right now for the NFC North. But I think I'm going to have to give it to the Bears. I have to give
it to the Bears too. I mean, I feel like they addressed some needs in the draft. Justin Fields, he's not a bad quarterback. Not even
just needs to improve as a passer. That's the only thing.
Here's the problem. That's a bad take because he can pass the ball. But the problem is though, a lot of the time, man, you should know this by now. Once the defenders get to him, he's forced to rush passes. But when he has all day to throw, man, he can sling it in there. That's the one thing you're forgetting is the line causes a lot of the bad throws. It's because he's rushing throws. Because he has no choice but to rush throws.
But yeah.
So that completely discredits your take, man. Because that offensive line causes bad throws. You're rushing throws. But yeah, I do think the Bears will take this one. I feel like
I don't say not by much.
Not by a lot, because again, Jordan Love, he's not a bad quarterback.
Even though, yes, it was in a short sample size, because now he's going to get a chance to start all 17 games, which is, we got to see what he can do. But moving on, what's the next team on the docket?
Seahawks, Rams. Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks.
No debate. Don't even give me a reason. We all know why the Rams are trash.
Yep.
We don't need a reason for it. The Rams are not what they were in 2022 or 2021, mind you.
They sold everything basically for a championship.
Seriously, they sold their soul for a championship, and at what cost? Because you lost all those players. But another game that doesn't need a debate. Broncos, Raiders.
I'm taking the Broncos. Because the Raiders, that's a joke of a franchise.
Josh McDaniels sucks. The roster sucks. No debate.
Well, I wouldn't say Devontae Adams is trash. He's still
except for Devontae Adams.
Come on, man.
And also Cup. Also, Cup is apparently hurting Michael in the IR. So that's why the Rams are going to win this one. And then we have kind of a toss-up game here. We can debate this, or we can give our reasons here. Chargers Dolphins.
Oh, Christ. Well, here's a few things with that. With this game, I think it's going to be a good game on paper. It also depends on, can the Chargers defense stay healthy? Can Tua stay healthy? Those are your biggest key storylines going into this one. Because right now, Tua, well, let's be real, dude. I hate to use this word, but he got his brain scrambled 3 separate times. And the Chargers, their defense, when healthy on paper, could be a good, like a top 5 to top 10 defense. But apparently, he had J.C. Jackson dealing with some stuff. Khalil Mack, I don't know if he's going to be the same one he once was during his time in Chicago. You got a competent head coach, and Brandon Staley, who doesn't inspire confidence. I like Justin Herbert. I think he's going to do well under Kellen Moore, because let's be real, Joe Lombardi was absolutely hot garbage as the OC, because boy, look at the many turnovers that the Chargers offense have given up. But I will say it's going to be a nice high scoring game. I'm going to say, if I had to put a mark on it, I would say 35-27. I think
honestly, I think it might go 30. I honestly think it might go 38-31.
It's
going to be a very high scoring game.
It's going to be a shootout. Like, the question is,
shootout.
I'm going to have to take the Chargers.
That's what I said too. I'm going to take the Chargers here.
I no disrespect to the Dolphins, but you got Tua who can't stay healthy. You got your running backs can't stay healthy. It's kind of concerning.
It's basically a hotbed for hospital bills. That's that team.
Pretty much. I hate to laugh, but it's absolutely.
That was a funny joke. It was a joke. You can laugh. It's a hotbed of hospital bills, man. It's a joke, so I can see why you laugh. Just laugh it out, man. It was a joke.
But
don't apologize for laughing, brother. Now we got a feud between us and Bobby. Beantown Breakdown. Next up on the docket, 425, Eagles Patriots.
Look, I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one for one of many reasons. Look at the roster construction for the Patriots, and Bobby pointed this out too. Shout out to Bobby with that. Like, he knows that the O-line's not really going to be the same. He brought in Zeke Elliott, who's not the greatest running back. I mean, he's kind of not been what he once was. And your receiving core outside of Kendrick Bourne, Devontae Parker, it's not. And the fact you picked up Jalen Reagor of all freaking people, I don't think this. Look, do I think the Patriots are going to be a good team? Slightly. Just because you're playing in a not, like I said, not really, because you have 3 other better teams ahead of you, especially in the tough AFC East with the Buffalo Bills, New York Jets, and the Miami Dolphins, and the fact that Robert Kraft is giving Belichick an ultimatum.
Honestly, that's the reason why I disagree with them saying they're going to be winning slightly. Honestly, think they might go 8-9. This roster,
at least,
because I do not see them winning a lot of games, or I see them winning somewhat decent amount of games, but they're not going to win enough.
I think they're going to be an 8-win team.
They're going to be an
8-win. Because it showed that after Tom Brady left, you lost Julian Edelman, who's one of your better other receivers. Yeah, it's been nothing but a mess up in New England. Sucks to say.
And then again, Rob pointed this out. You signed Jalen Reagor, who can't catch even a cold.
And that's the thing too. And Steve brought up an interesting point. The pressure is on Mac Jones. Can he take a step forward in year 3? If not, well,
thank you, Steve. Because that's a big point right there for this team. How well is Mac Jones going to do? Because last year he got benched a lot for Zappy.
Yeah,
it was like Mac 1 week, Zappy the next. Mac 1 week, Zappy the next.
They couldn't decide on who's the actual starter because
both were not that great.
As also said to the fact you also had Joe Judge and Matt Patricia being your co-offensive coordinators.
Why did we even get Matt Patricia? Oh, God. Don't remind me of Matt Patricia ever again.
But
But yeah.
And now you got Bill O'Brien, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes.
Dude,
I got the Eagles.
The Patriots got Bill O'Brien?
That's their OC, yes.
They're done for. They're done for.
I wouldn't say they're done for, but Bill O'Brien has done wonders as an offensive coordinator. It's the head coaching is where the problem was leading up to.
See, that was what happened last year. I feel like a lot of the mistakes they made last year stem from coaching. That's where I thought. It all stemmed from coaching, and I feel like now with the pending issue. Thanks to Bobby for giving us the inside scoop from your friend here, who works for the Patriots. That now you have this animosity between Kraft and Belichick going on.
And who would have thought Belichick might actually get fired? It's like, I didn't never had that on my bingo card.
He basically said, if you don't have a better season like you were, like you had in years past with Brady, you're fired. Done.
That's like,
hey Doofus. It's hard to actually make a guy the next Brady. It's hard.
No, it really is.
That's a tall task.
Because I think because many people say, Belichick relied on Brady. Because if you think about it, I think Brady carried pretty much Belichick most of the time, if you think about it. And Belichick,
honestly, I think the whole roster makeup carried him as a coach.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, now and let's the dude can't drive for wear that damn anyways. I mean,
So yeah, I feel like I definitely think that his job is definitely in jeopardy this year, and I feel like if they don't win this season, and they're not in win now mode, and they don't win more than 9 games, they are done. And Belichick, you're getting your walking papers. But yeah, I think the Eagles have this one. I think it will be like 30. They'll put up 30 on the Patriots. Sure.
I'll say more than 30. I think our offense is least.
I could think maybe 45, 48 points.
At least. Because
at least.
Even Bobby said the defense isn't. I mean, look, the defense is going to be good. It's going to be okay, but I think we're going to score a ton on that defense. But
I don't even think the Patriots are going to even score a lot because, again, their offensive line is weak, and we have one of the strongest front sevens in the league. And I feel like they're gonna cause them fits. That's what I feel. The Eagles are gonna cause them fits on defense and also on offense. So what honestly I think at the very least, the Patriots are only gonna put up maybe 17 to 20 points.
At least.
And that I think is pushing it. But anyway, the next game we have Aaron Rodgers' Jets debut against the Bills. 8:15 primetime Monday night. Oh, no, wait, no. I missed a game. Giants, Cowboys, Sunday night. Who you got?
I hate to say this, but I got Dallas. I think Dallas, and also Dallas is always going to be a top 5 team, regardless of what you think or how much you hate it, like we do. But like I said, bias aside, when we look at the roster construction on both ends, now yes, I think Dallas has slightly better quarterback play, and that's not really saying much because Dak has been, I would say, not. What's the word I'm looking for here? I would say not terrible, but he's shown flashes to be at least a top 10 quarterback easy. And it pains me to say that. But I think the defense is actually is solid. They got a nice offense. They finally paid Zach Martin finally after he's given another, because remember that offensive line can't go without Zach Martin. And also it's going to be interesting to see what Brandon Cooks, with the addition of Brandon Cooks. I mean, Michael Gallup, if he can stay healthy as your wide receiver 3, and then see it with CeeDee Lamb as well. So I think they have a better overall talent but also it depends if Mike McCarthy could be a decent play caller than Kellen Moore. But I got the Cowboys over the Giants, and it hates me to say that.
I do too. Either way, we hate to say one of our rivals winning a game. But the next game on the docket, Monday Night Football. Again, I know I missed a game, so I'm gonna say again here. Aaron Rodgers' debut as a Jet against the Bills. Who you got?
You know what? Give me the Jets over the Buffalo Bills.
That's a scorcher of a take there.
Here's why. I think that defense for Buffalo is getting up there in age. You have Von Miller on the PUP list from coming off that torn ACL. He's going to miss 4 games. You got Damar Hamlin. How's he going to come back? After that, for that crazy health scare last year on Monday Night Football, and look, in terms of the battle of the defenses, I think that Jets have a good defense to really, can be a top 5 defense in the league. But I just don't think that the Buffalo Bills defense is going to be. They're going to be good, but I don't think I think you can see a bit of a slight regression from a lot of guys like Matt Milano, Ed Oliver. We don't know about like I said, Damar Hamlin. That's to be determined if he's going to regress or actually take a step forward. You don't have Von Miller. You're missing some key pieces on that defense. Offensively, they're going to be fine offensively. So I think it's going to be a shootout. But I got the Jets over the Bills open up week 1.
I honestly have the polar opposite. I have the Bills getting put over the Jets. Okay. Here's why. I don't completely trust Aaron Rodgers. The way he played last year, I know it was probably because over protesting with the drafting of Jordan Love. He did not want to. He was basically becoming another Brett Favre, in a sense. In his eyes.
True.
But I don't trust him. He had a bad season last year with the Packers. I just don't know with him and that offense. And so I'm gonna choose the Bills here. The Bills, they have a prolific offense. They've got Josh Allen. They've got Stephon Diggs. They got the offense to do it.
They do.
They have a great offense.
Defense is what worries me.
And yeah, I mean, I get that side of the ball why you chose the Jets. The Jets have a great defense. Sauce Gardner on that team.
I mean, everybody else part of that front 7. I mean, they got a stingy defense.
They've got a stingy defense, yes. So it's such a toss-up for me, but I'm choosing the Bills. I mean, the Bills are more.
I think it's going to be a shootout. I think that's where this game is headed on Monday Night Football. It's going to be a shootout.
I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Hey, look, like I said, to each their own. We'll see come Monday.
Yeah, we'll have to see come Monday. But again, I have the Bills beating the Jets here, and if you're right, then you're right. If I'm right, I'm right. Whatever. But that's the thing. I just don't know with this. It's such a toss-up game. Anyway, that was our week 1 predictions, though. We barely even started the show yet. We still have a lot of topics to get through. I might just have to cut a few topics out.
Yeah, might as well just cut them.
All right. So that's the WNBA thing. We'll probably push that to next week. The standing predictions, we'll do that next week. Week 1 prediction, we already did that. I don't even know why I have it twice written here.
I think the one topic I think we should discuss, what the heck's going on with Clemson? Like they just
I have it here. I have it here, man. Also we're gonna talk about Coach Prime too.
Yeah.
But let's start off with Clemson.
It's it's kind of hard for us to describe what the heck we saw on Monday night. Really I've always will give my respect to Duke as a basketball school, but the fact he lost to them,
But here's the thing, though. Dante did say they went 7-4, and they're making that huge leap forward this year.
Yeah, that is true.
So I'm not going to knock Duke at all.
Also, I'm not going to disrespect them. I think they're going to be a sneaky team in the ACC. And yes, the ACC is not the greatest conference in college football. We know that. But
yeah,
because
let's just be through this for a minute here. Here's my problem with Clemson. It's the fact that you have receivers messing up on certain plays. You're moving down there's been a few times in that game where you're moving down the field, it's going nice, and somehow
you kind of completely
in the red zone, they're screwing up. They're 0 for 4. We're actually 1 for 4.
Actually, 1 for 5 on third down conversions.
1 for 5, yeah. I forgot 1 for 5, yeah, because he had the 2 missed field goals here too. But
yeah,
they were 1 for 5
from 23 yards out. How the hell do you do that?
Seriously, 1 for 5 in the red zone.
That's unacceptable.
You have a blocked kick and 2 shanked field goals.
And the fact that you're going to ask us, like, what's the 1 for? Oh, Mr. Will. The only person who came up to show up to play, figuratively speaking, was Will frickin' Shipley.
And it was a screen pass to Shipley. Screen pass, a little dink and dunk score to make it 7-6 in the first quarter. After that, fumble in the red zone.
Twice, actually. That was the
two fumbles in the red zone.
Couldn't have an opportunity to tie the game and actually win it had you not.
2 missed field goals.
It's it was terrible to be a Clemson fan, to be quite honest. And
let me tell you something. If you want to see my reaction to that game,
go rewatch it.
Because I was not happy.
Because there's been interesting arguments that were made. It's just like, is it really? And Jake brought this up as a good point too. Like, is the era of Dabo really going to be done soon in Clemson? For me, I really couldn't say, but it's just like, first of all, like, I can't blame coaches, but then again, when you really look at how Dabo has not adapted to using the transfer portal, which is a lot of coaches have success with that.
Didn't he use the transfer portal to get this quarterback that we have?
Quite honestly, he recruited him, and Dabo never used the transfer portal.
Oh, okay.
Even during his time, throughout his entire time, when he had guys like Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, all recruitments, no transfer portals. And now we're seeing DJ, who we completely crapped on, play some of the best football that we could potentially see.
5 touchdowns in one game. That's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, Dabo Swinney is in trouble, to be honest. If he still neglects to use the transfer portal through the entire season, get us some better receivers, get us a better quarterback, to be honest. I mean, the quarterback isn't.
Well,
I don't want to settle. I don't want to just settle for All right.
I want another T-Law or Deshaun Watson to produce another national championship.
I want someone who's elite on this team.
And quite honestly, we haven't really had. I mean, think about look at some of the good players that come through this program. Deshaun Watson is one of them. DeAndre goddamn Hopkins, Trevor Lawrence, who actually had a really good sophomore season. Yes, we had some bust to guys like Cleveland Farrell, so that even though that was a bit of a reach by the Raiders, but that's besides the point. But really looking at, as we said, because Meats Hard said we can't really blame coaching because I know that's a scapegoat way out. But then again, when you really look at how Dabo goes about it, now you can see why a lot of teams like Florida State, who have been, I would say, have been improving. Look at Notre Dame, for crying out loud. They're not having a conference and they're having a good season. And you have Duke. What do? They use the transfer portal. Like, for the love of God, you're having teams in your conference getting better while you're standing by basically with your thumb up your rear end and just get flat out embarrassed because God, I hate this. And now we've got South Carolina at the end of the year. Oh, that's going to suck even more. And I hate to say that.
And the reason why we say that is because they're our in-state rival. So that's going to be the worst thing ever. It was last year. I couldn't hear the end of it last year when they beat Clemson last year.
Shit, it's worse. I couldn't hear the end of it from Notre Dame fans. Let's be freaking real here. We got to play them again this year. But also shout out to David for coming from Cedar Hill, Texas. So shout out to Texas coming through. We appreciate it.
Yeah, shout out Texas.
And shout out to Steve Stephanie. Shout out from the Windy City, boy.
Yes.
We greatly appreciate that.
Shout out to you guys for showing up.
But yeah, right now, I mean, if you really look at the coaches, obviously the hot seat figuratively in the ACC, right now the scalding hot belongs to Dabo. I hate to say it. I know that's a skate way to point in, but when you look at how this team could be so much better had Dabo can actually know how to use the transfer portal.
Here's the kicker. He knows how to recruit defensively, but he always struggles trying to recruit offensively.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
After Trevor Lawrence left, DJ didn't pan out. This new guy right now isn't panning out. The running back is good until he gets into the red zone. Then he's fumbling the football.
Yeah, Phil Maffa twice.
Phil Maffa. He's good. He's good when it's like midfield. When he gets to the red zone, he's somehow fumbling the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Phil Maffa's, they should more use him in like third down situations, short yardage situations, because that's what Phil Maffa's all about. He's a bowling ball with feet.
But here's the thing. The red zone. You're literally a half a yard away from the goal line. It was a short yard situation. He fumbles.
It's great. Ooh, Steffi's actually got a very good question for us. I got Colorado. I don't know about Nebraska. I mean, see what Shedeur Sanders can do with a football. Oh, good Lord.
Dude, and the fact that Shedeur, and you know what? Let's go right to that. Yeah, that's a good segue. Thank you, Steph.
Salute to you, Stephanie, for that awesome question.
Dude, that segues us perfectly right into the next thing. Coach Prime's successful week 1 in Colorado.
Because it's crazy, because I had little skepticisms. You know, like I said, I don't really follow much of HBCU football or like guys. We all know that Colorado last year was god awful. But then again, I'm like, he might be building something here because he's making moves like it's the NFL, cutting half the players, signing half the, moving half. And that's the thing, like and that's another team. Use your transfer portal to get players. Look, why do you think Jackson State was so successful in college football, especially in terms of
transfer portal?
And his son Shedeur Sanders is a very good quarterback in college football. Now, yes, I know.
And here's the thing: we kind of should have expected it, knowing the fact that Tom Brady trained him.
I was like, you know what? Because when you look at it, I mean, he does kind of have the same mechanics as Tom Brady, but Shedeur is also like a little bit more mobile than what Tom Brady, because Tom Brady boy, if you could explore Shedeur Sanders more mobility, that is scary. I'm sorry, that is a scary.
But the fact that he has the same arm as Tom Brady, but he has legs like a freaking cheetah.
I'm thinking to myself, like,
come on, man, he's dangerous. Shedeur Sanders is dangerous, dude.
Because I'm thinking it's like, man, we got Patrick Mahomes in the NFL, but if he gets that, are we going to really see another Patrick Mahomes type of quarterback with a gunslinger and mobility? Oh, good Lord, that is. And yes, TCU yeah, that's right. TCU has been garbage since the national championship game. Yes, Ed, yes, I remember.
Dude, I turned that game off in the third quarter. I like Nebraska a lot, but Colorado seems like they're going to be again tomorrow. In Colorado, come up played against TCU, then I know this Colorado team is nothing to play with.
I agree 100%.
I agree wholeheartedly.
And I will say this too about Nebraska. I think Matt Rule has done some good work, I would say. But at the NFL level, I don't think he was given a fair shot because look at the cards he was dealing with at the time. But we moved on from that.
Bro, you think he's doing a good job? You really think he's doing a good job?
I said,
bro blew a halftime lead and lost the game. He is not doing a good job.
TCU, I don't think TCU and we always say this too. TCU has not recovered since that national championship game. I'm sorry, that was one of the worst in terms of look.
Bro, I turned that game off in the second quarter.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was like 63 to second or it was like 63 to 7.
With the high scoring that we saw in week 1 of college football. What the heck was that all about? Oregon dropping 81, or putting up 81. You have other schools like Jacksonville State put up 30. It's like we're seeing. I was like, oh, good Lord.
Yeah, but back to the topic at hand, though. If they do what they did at TCU, if they do what they did,
I think,
and they play this good against Nebraska, who also should not be a good team.
Yeah, I mean
because Matt Rule, let's be honest, I disagree with your take. He's not a good coach at any level.
But I got a hot take.
Pros,
I think
pros or the college, he is a bad coach.
Well, no wonder why Temple football was kind of asked for a little bit because he was a coach over there as well. But that's besides the point.
Exactly. Temple.
But here's my hot take in terms of Colorado. I think Colorado. My hot take. I think they're going to be a not championship contenders, but I think they're going to win the entire damn thing. I think they're going to be national champions in Colorado. That's my hot take right there.
Do you know what I think? I think they'll make the playoff. They're definitely going to make the playoff this year.
Yeah, I mean,
do I see them winning the national championship? Maybe in a year or so. Right now, they just built up this team. I don't see them winning like that. I don't see them winning like that, bro.
Like I said, it's a hot take, but realistically, I can see that. But realistically, this team could be a playoff contender.
Yeah, realistically, yes. I think they're making a playoff for sure.
But then again, if Deion knows can work the transfer portal, who's to say they can go make a good run at the national championship?
They could.
So Stephanie pretty much says,
"Oh, they weren't ready.
Oh, they were not ready for Coach Prime."
Now, offensively, they were ready. Offensively, a little bit, because I think it was 45-40 the final.
I think it was,
and it was a shootout. It was a legit shootout, but there has been a few times where Colorado's defense was pretty good. But this is why I don't see them winning in the playoff. I do see them going to the playoff. I don't see them winning because the defense, they're very hit and miss in a sense. But yeah, the offense. I mean, my God.
Good point, but see, that's the thing too. They took that's what you don't want to do against a guy like a coach like Coach Prime.
Dude, Coach Prime is like, "Hi, you want to take us lightly? I'm going to step on your throat, and I'm going to leave my foot there and press even harder." That's his coaching strategy. For me, you know what I think he is? He's the college equivalent. He's the college equivalent to Dan Campbell.
I can see that. I'm
seeing that right now. He's the college equivalent to Dan Campbell. He motivates his team, and they win.
And he's got the talent to win games.
And honestly, both guys, when I hear the post game or the pregame or any of his speeches to his team, both guys, Deion Sanders Prime, it's either Coach Prime or Dan Campbell. Both guys, when I hear these speeches to their teams, they make me want to run through 10 walls.
And yeah,
and you see it the way he talks to his players. It's like he's talking to his kids.
It really is. I mean, look, Coach Prime, he doesn't settle for half success. He wants the whole jalopy, basically.
Oh, Egypt.
Well, ciao, buddy. But yeah, last and final thought before we get out of here is Coach. I think Colorado's going to have a really good season. Do I because do I think they're playoff contenders? Absolutely, but I don't. Well, unless something goes wrong, which I would hopefully doesn't. Knocking on wood.
Yeah.
But all in all, I think Coach Prime was the best decision or best coaching hiring that Colorado has made in quite a while. I like that. From Joseph for salary, Prime and team just kick the frog back to the pond. I like that. But Tyler, final thoughts?
That's an odd. For one, that's an odd analogy there. Who said that? Hold on. David, that's an odd little analogy, but I do agree with that. He kicked him to the curb. He kicked the frog back to the pond, so to speak, like you said. Odd little analogy there, but I take it. But yeah, I think Colorado is the real deal this year. I really do. And it is funny, Stephanie. It was an odd little analogy, but it was hilarious. But yeah, honestly, I do think Colorado is serious. Clemson, you got to be better.
They have to.
Dabo, please utilize transfer portal. The old way of doing things is just not the way anymore. You got to adapt. No, I know you're a bit old fashioned, and it did work for you in 2018. It did work for you when you had Deshaun Watson. And it did work for you when you had Trevor Lawrence. But it's just not like that anymore. If something ain't working,
you got to
essentially trade your players.
Or at least change your way of coaching.
Yeah. Honestly, coaching isn't the issue. It's the fact that he doesn't utilize transfer portal.
Exactly. I mean,
just use the transfer portal. If a player isn't panning out, get rid of that player and use transfer portal to bring over a better player.
But that being said, ladies and gentlemen,
that was a great call, Stephanie, on them getting Dion. That was really cool that they got him because he did deserve it. He deserved it. He's a great coach.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's essentially like if Dabo was in the NFL and he had a bad roster and he didn't make any trades the entire season. Like if he was a GM and he's like, oh, I'll just settle for mediocrity. But again, another thought before we go. If you told me that 20 years ago, or if you told me 10 years ago, 2013, that Deion Sanders would be a head coach for a college football team and actually not just a college football team, a D1 NCAA squad, and kill it, I would have laughed in your face. But in 2023, it's happened.
Yeah.
And my God, is Coach Prime the best thing ever?
Yeah, it's been. But all in all, college football, there are week ones in the books. So, with all that being said, like I said, we don't really have much time. If you're going to be a wrestling fan, me and Tyler will be back at it for SmackDown, or unless otherwise.
Wait. You misstepped there.
Oh.
It won't be me and Rob tonight. I feel like it's too close. Again, we ended this with 3 minutes to spare before the SmackDown stream usually starts, and I usually want to just take time and chill. I don't want to just do 2 streams back to back. So it's only going to be Rob because he has more mental capacity than I do with that.
Oh, yeah.
He can do 3. He can do 3, 4 streams in one day. Like there's one time. There's been a few times where we're doing a stream. Immediately after that, he's playing a video game and streaming. I can't do that. I get burnt out way too easily. I usually have to have maybe 2 or 3 hours to relax and decompress before I go back to stream a second stream. So I won't be on I won't be on the SmackDown stream.
Actually, you know what? I just pushed it back. It's like,
You just no. You should have done it. Hold the fort. Because we'll be doing this stream again at 6.
I think we should actually just move the time until at least like 4:30 to 5 o'clock.
But then again, I get up late, and sometimes I'm
true.
So again, you can do SmackDown at night. I'll just do Monday nights.
Oh yeah, we'll be back at it again for Raw Tuesday. I'll be back at it for
and guys, another announcement too. Collision has been axed.
Yeah.
Because Collision, it's gone downhill. The ratings have plummeted, and the ratings have plummeted because of it here.
Yep.
So Collision is no more.
But
for some it's been a fan favorite, but right now Collision hasn't been great in terms of quality either. That's axed. So we're only going to do Mondays. I'm only going to be on the Monday Night Raw stream. I'm not going to do Friday Night SmackDown anymore. I might pop in one on occasion for SmackDown, but with this stream being 6 o'clock and me only having an hour,
it's our watch party got axed. I think you should have said that better.
The watch party.
But yeah, so that being said,
the watch party. Yeah, the watch party, David. I'm sorry. No, Collision wasn't canceled. No, it might soon because the ratings are dropping, but it hasn't been canceled yet. But the live stream, our live stream is canceled.
Yeah, but with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta pop out because I gotta get ready for SmackDown. And that being said, we'll see you guys next week for another episode for the All-Star Sports Show.
Peace.